Five, four, three, two, one. What's up, everybody? It's the Fantasy Typhoon, aka the Mentalist, aka your favorite analyst, and welcome to two shows in one today. We got a treat for you. Since we didn't get to do Can You Beat the Coin Wednesday, due to Thanksgiving and all the other holiday festivities that embarked upon us. Jeff and myself. Jeff is in the green room. I'll bring him in right quick. And we're doing Can You Beat the Coin? And we're doing Who Do I Start? Who Do I Bench? So bring your comments and we'll maybe take a break, do some comments, answer some questions, get your start sits in. It's a crazy week. Week 12 of the National Football League is a crazy week. Finally, we are seeing COVID basically take over. I bring in my good friend Jeff Haseley of Football Guys, and we'll go ahead and get you guys started. Jeff, what's up, Jeff?
Hey, man. Typhoon, it's good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hope everything went well for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know if I probably gained about 5 pounds. I don't know, maybe 15.
That's good. You got to be careful. Watch out those leftovers; they'll get you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. I've been nibbling on those a little bit, man. But you know how it is.
That's good. So, you ready to do these picks?
Yes, sir. Look, folks. Remember, there's two shows in one. We'll be doing Can You Beat the Coin, and we are also answering start sit questions as they come in. So go ahead and bring your comments and questions in as well. All right, Jeff. Let's rock and roll.
Okie doke. All right. So let's take a look at this week. We don't have a whole lot of time to go over last week, but let's look at this week. We can also look at the first two games between Detroit and Houston and Dallas and Washington. Of course, the coin flip, these are the choices here as you see on the screen. These are the choices that the coin decided. And here's what both Typhoon and I picked prior to the games, of course. We both took Houston. I took Washington. He took Dallas. So far, I am 2-0, and Typhoon's 1-1. So we move on to the rest of the games in this Week 12 slate. Here's the coin. Here's the picks that the coin made. Now it's up to us to make our picks. So, Typhoon, do you want to do this one by one, or how do you want to do this? One by one.
Let's do one by one. Let's do three. Answer question. Do three, answer question, and so forth and so on.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So let's start off with New England and Arizona. This game is in New England. New England's a 2.5-point underdog. Let's see. What are we going with here? Arizona against New England. 2.5 points is not that bad. I think Arizona's the better team. Although, from what I understand, it's going to be cold and perhaps windy in New England, so that's a concern. But at the same time, Kyler Murray's Kyler Murray. He's going to run. I kind of like Arizona in this one here, minus the 2.5. I think that's a little bit lower of a line that I think we can work with. So if they win by a field goal, we cover. So I'm going to take Arizona minus the 2.5. I'm curious what you think and what your algorithm says.
Algorithm, I'll be quick. Algorithm has a minus 5.5 Arizona Cardinals, so I'll take the Cardinals.
All right. That was quick. Okay, good. Let's move on to the next game. Carolina at Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 4.5 points. Carolina usually good against the spread so far this year. I believe they're, 6-5 against the spread, if I'm not mistaken. Minnesota does not have Adam Thielen in this game. Carolina does not have McCaffrey. They are lacking Russell Okung, their left tackle, but they've had him out for a couple weeks now. I like Carolina to cover this on a backdoor cover, if not win the game. They played well last week. The only game that they've really butchered this whole season is against Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. And I don't know. I kind of like Carolina in the underdog role here. They tend to do well in that role. So I'm going to take Carolina plus 4.5. And
Carolina plus 4.5.
Let's see. I mean, the Vikings have the number one offense in the red zone. Granted, they don't have Adam Thielen this week, who has 11 touchdowns for him. So Carolina, I think, is 10th in red zone defense. They allow a lot of field goals, not so many touchdowns. So I think this might be closer than than we might think. So if they can stop them from scoring in the red zone, or at least minimize those scores, I think this is going to be a tighter game. So I like Carolina.
Let's see. Algorithm has this over 49 points. Minnesota minus 1.5. So I guess that would put me with Carolina as well, right?
It would. All right. So you got Carolina?
Yeah, I'll take Carolina.
Okay. All right. So we've got Jacksonville and Cleveland. Jacksonville 6.5 point favorite. Or sorry, Jacksonville 6.5 point underdog at home against the Browns. Can they handle that 6.5 points? Cleveland's kind of a little bit on a roll. I like them. You know what? I'm going to take Cleveland to win this game. I'm uncertain on what Jacksonville is going to do. No DJ Shark. Of course, they have a backup quarterback with Mike Glennon. Shoot. I don't know. I mean, they're already struggling offensively. Now they're going to struggle even more with a different quarterback, I think. So I'm going to take Cleveland minus the 6.5. And curious on what you say.
Cleveland minus 5.5. Go ahead and give me Cleveland.
Okay. Minus 6.5. All right. Then we got some questions you want to go over?
All right, folks, we got questions coming in. Jordan Brown here. Standard 5-point bonus at 100 and 200 rushing, and at 75 and 150. Wow, 75 receiving, you get a bonus. Start Gallman or Eckler today.
Oh, I think if you have Austin Eckler, you start Eckler. I think he's one of those backs that if you have him on your roster, you're playing him. I think that the Chargers are going to lean on him. They really don't have any other legitimate options. So, I mean, with Eckler back, I think he's a big piece of that offense. I think you go with Eckler here, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, nice because he had, 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games? Or is it now?
Ballage is out.
So that's not a bad option versus Cincinnati, but man, I don't know how you can not start Eckler if he's playing. That's just my call, and that might not be a popular opinion based on what Wayne Gallman has done in the last couple weeks. But if you have Eckler, I think you start him. I just think you do.
Yeah, Kalen Ballage is out, and
they have Josh Kelly, but Kelly hasn't done much.
If I'm you drafted Eckler as your big boy, so you got to run him out there. That's what you drafted him for.
I think if you have him, you start him. It's kind of just like Raheem Mostert. I think he's going to do well this week. Granted, it's a tough matchup against the Rams, but as opposed to some other options that you might have, I would rather have an Eckler or a Mostert versus a Gallman or a Gio Bernard or a Jordan Wilkins, that kind of decision. So I would rather go with the proven commodity than the player who is kind of thrust into action.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, if you have Eckler, you drafted him high, you've been waiting for him to come back, you've been anticipating this. Mm-hmm. Now's your time to go ahead and throw him in there. Let's see what we got. Against the Bills, it's a pretty good play. Bills defense is not, highly. They're about middling of the road. But I do have to give Gallman some credit here. Going up against the Bengals. Bengals are on their backup quarterback. This could be a run game day.
It's a tough one because Cincinnati is also a very good favorable matchup against the run, and we know how Gallman's been playing lately. I mean, it's tough. I got to
go Gallman. Yeah.
So we're really not helping him. He doesn't know. He's still.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
To be honest with you, I don't know the answer. I just know that Eckler, in my opinion, is going to be really difficult to bench. But if you are going to bench him, I mean, Gallman's not a bad option, especially against Cincinnati. Granted, the game's in Cincinnati, but Just the way that he's been featured in that Giants offense lately and how he has produced and had success. I get it. It's a coin flip in my opinion. If you want to go with the safer pick, maybe the safer pick is Gallman here, right? Because we're not quite sure what Eckler is going to be thrust upon, what he's going to be given in terms of volume and usage. But from what I understand, I think he's going to be used quite often in this game.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, if you've been waiting to punch Eckler in there.
I know it's tough. It's a really tough decision. But I say Eckler, you say Gallman. I'm literally okay with either one.
Yeah, I would run Gallman out. If you're looking for a ceiling, I guess Eckler would have the highest ceiling, right? Eckler could come in and catch a couple of dump offs and.
Oh yeah, especially if it's PPR. He could have 6 catches in this game.
Gallman, if you're conservative, go Gallman. But if you are swinging for the fences and if you're up against a tough matchup, go ahead and run Eckler out. All right, Jeff, let's pick it back up, man. Let's do three. Right. We'll do 3 more, and then we'll come back and answer questions.
Okay. And speaking with Buffalo and the Chargers, that's our next pick here. So Buffalo is at home. They're favored by 5.5 points against the Chargers. In my opinion, this might be a little too high. This might be kind of a lower scoring game with weather in Buffalo the way it is. I'm thinking maybe like a 24-20 type of game. And that goes right into 5.5 points. So I kind of like the Chargers plus 5.5 in this game. I like them getting the points. 5.5 is quite a lot of points against 2 teams that are fairly decent that should be able to produce both offensively and defensively against each other. So I think it'll be fairly tight.
Algorithm has Buffalo minus 4.5.
Okay.
Let's see. Buffalo minus 4.5. Give me the Chargers.
All right. We're so far we're
this is a field goal game. That's the field goal game.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. Or 4 points, or even 5. All right, Falcons at home versus the Raiders. And the Falcons don't have Todd Gurley, and they don't have Julio Jones, and they are getting 3.5 points right now. This could be a big Josh Jacobs game, and it could be a big Derek Carr game, especially with Darren Waller. I kind of like the fact that the line is only 3.5 here. I'm thinking this is more like a touchdown type of game. So I like the Raiders minus the 3.5 on the road against the Falcons. And what I think I think they're going to win this game fairly easily, but we'll see. So I'm going to take minus 3.5 Raiders.
Believe it or not, the algorithm has Atlanta as a point minus 0.5. So what should I do?
And remember, that's without. I don't know if the algorithm knew about Gurley or Julio.
Give me Atlanta.
Okay, sticking with it. I like it. I like the fact that you're sticking with the algorithm. All right, Jets at home. Sam Darnold returning against Miami. No Tua, but they've got Ryan Fitzpatrick to deal with. Jets 7.5. Oh, and also Miami. Who's their running back? Matt Breida this week. Patrick Laird. I mean, so we don't really know. This might be a big passing game, and it all depends on game script here. But I'm leaning the Jets in this game. Believe it or not, I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe Sam Darnold's return. Maybe he has a good matchup, or a good connection with Jamison Crowder and Brashad Perriman. Maybe Frank Gore gets some action here. I kind of like the Jets plus the 7.5. Miami's playing well, but they're coming off a loss. I'm going to take the Jets plus 7.5. I think that's a decent. Line to have, especially for a home team against a division rival. So I'm going to take the Jets 7.5.
Let's see. Algorithm has it. Miami minus 8.5.
Okay.
I'm taking the Dolphins.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, next game. Cincinnati at home versus the Giants. You got Brandon Allen at quarterback now, with, of course, Joe Burrow is out with a season-ending injury. The Giants are in a battle for the NFC East. They got to get this win. I'm not sure what Brandon Allen can do, but and they don't have, of course, they don't have Joe Mixon, and Giovanni Bernard is kind of banged up himself. I kind of like the Giants here, minus the 5.5, but I'm afraid to do it because that's kind of a big number. And on the road even, but that's tough. This is a tough one. Yeah, I'm going to go with the fact that I'm not sure what Brandon Allen's going to do, and he's the catalyst there, right? He's the catalyst, the factor, the rate determining factor. If we're getting into chemistry, the rate determining factor on the Bengals' success. So I'm gonna go with the Giants, thinking that Brandon Allen struggles. So I'm gonna take the Giants. How about you?
Algorithm has the same Giants minus 5.5, so I'm taking the Giants. It's
all right.
Very rarely does it come out the same. All right, hold on. Let's see if we got any more questions in here.
Okay.
Let's see. Jordan Brown. What does he say? Thanks for the help. Sad to say I traded Dalvin, Andrews, and Ingram for Saquon, Eckler, and Fant before the season started. So sad to say Eckler wasn't my OG draft pick. Been holding him for this moment. So I guess that's a follow-up from the question we just answered.
Yep.
He's just explaining he didn't draft Eckler. So
gotcha. Pick them
up. Yeah. I guess it still doesn't change it, right?
Not really. It's more like if you need the points against a tough opponent this week, then I think you go Eckler. If you want to be safe, then I think you go Gallman. And I think we kind of nailed that pretty well with our discussion.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get back to the coin, my friend.
All right, Colts at home versus division rival Titans. Indy is favored by 4.5 points in this game. 4.5 points, man. I'm thinking this is a 2-point win, a 3-point win. I'm taking the Titans getting the points all day long in a tough divisional rival matchup like this. So I like Tennessee to either win outright or cover the 4.5 points. What do you?
Algorithm has Colts minus 2.5. Man. if that was actually 2.5, I would take Indy. Man, so they got to win by 7.
Well, they got to win by the Colts. They got to win by 5.
Well, pretty much 7 in.
Yeah, if you want to say it that way. Yeah.
6, 2 field goals to do it. 6 is about the lowest it'll get.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let's see.
Colts just beat the Packers, so they're coming off that fun win last week.
Yeah, that could be a letdown.
Could be. Could be. Or not. Michael Pittman's now starting to come into his own. He's the leading receiver in terms of snaps over the last couple weeks.
Give me the Colts.
Of course, Jonathan Taylor's out in this game. He's not playing. Jonathan Wilkins is in. And, of course, they have Naheem Hines. So you like Indy?
Yeah, give me the Colts.
Okay. All right. Here's the one. Denver and the Saints. I mean, the CBS line has Denver plus 5.5, but recently with the news of all of the Denver quarterbacks being out, that line I've seen the line go up over 10 in favor of New Orleans. So this one, I almost wonder if we should just not even play it. But I do like New Orleans, of course, minus the 5.5, but I even might like New Orleans minus 10.5 in this game, just due to the recent involvement of COVID restrictions that the Broncos are going to have to deal with here. So for this particular measurement, I mean, I like the Saints minus 5.5. I think they could possibly win by 10, if not more.
Yeah, give me the Saints.
All right.
Both of the both the Ravens and the Broncos are under investigation, so
Yeah.
they could take a 6th-round draft pick and a hefty fine to that organization if they find that no masks were being worn or COVID-19 procedures were neglected.
Right. Yeah, that's tough, man. I'd hate to be a team that has to endure that. All right. Do we got time for another swing of picks here, or do you have a question?
No questions in the house. Let's keep
Okay.
rolling.
All right. So we got the Rams -7.5 against the 49ers. The game is in Los Angeles. The 49ers are getting Raheem Mostert back this week, but they're still kind of struggling. I still think this might be a tough or a tight game. 7.5 is a lot of points against a division rival. I'm not sure if the Rams are going to cover that. I kind of like San Francisco to cover this. I'm going to say San Francisco plus the 7.5. That's a lot of points. So I'm going to go with the 49ers here, even though I like the Rams to win the game. I think they're the better team this year. They're the ones, they have the home game, but I think San Francisco covers in an attempt to keep it tight within the division here. So I'll say the 49ers plus 7.5.
Give me the Rams.
All right. Okay. Easy enough.
That's a
Tampa
lot of
Bay.
points, man. That's 10 points.
Yeah.
Well, 9 points, 3 field goals.
Yeah, right. It's over a touchdown. All right. So you think the Rams are going to cover that?
No, I don't, but the algorithm does.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Tampa Bay at home getting points against the Chiefs. 3.5. 3.5 point underdog for Tampa Bay against the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs in this game. I just think that they're the better team. 3.5 points.
Give me KC with you.
3.5 points
with you
is kind of tough. It might be 3 points, but I'm going to go with KC and the fact that I just think they're the better team, even though this is in Tampa. If they get to Tom Brady, I think the Chiefs make a statement here. Green Bay at home versus Chicago. Mitchell Trubisky now a quarterback for the Bears. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is that a neutral thing? Is he going to be better than Nick Foles? Worse? Will it matter against the Packers? 8.5 point favorite. They got Aaron Jones. They've got Jamal Williams. They've got Devontae Adams. I mean, they've got a pretty full slate of players playing this game. I don't think really anyone's hurt of significance for Green Bay. I kind of like the Packers here, minus the 8.5 at home, thinking that this might be a romp. So, division rival aside, I think Green Bay is the better team by far. So I'm going to take Green Bay minus 8.5.
Yeah, I'll do the same. Give me Green Bay.
All right. 2 games left. The Eagles at home against the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 5.5 points on the road. Eagles getting 5.5 at home. If Eagles win this game, they are at the top of the division. So, I mean, there's that going for them. Seattle is Seattle, right? Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. He tends to keep games close. Can he keep this game close, or will it be a blowout in favor of Seattle? I don't think so. I kind of think that Philadelphia keeps it close somehow, some way. We know that Seattle has allowed 8 receptions or more to not every receiver, but at least one receiver against in every game this year. Isn't that crazy? I don't know if you heard that. Seattle has allowed at least 8 receptions to a wide receiver in every game this year.
Wow.
So who's it going to be this week? Is it Jalen Reagor? Is it Travis Fulgham? And one of those 2, I would imagine. But can they keep it close? Can they keep it close? Seattle is a different team now with Carlos Dunlap, though, at defensive end. He may be the rate-determining factor in this game. He's our wild card here. If he has a good game, I think Seattle's defense shows up and plays well, and they could cover. If not, then we're seeing the old Seattle of past weeks where they keep everything close or lose, right? They've lost, 3 games in the last 5, I believe? Does Philadelphia right the ship, or does Seattle be victorious? I think Seattle's going to win by like 3 or 4 points. So I'm going to take Philly at home plus the 5.5. This is odd. This is odd for me to do this, but I'm going to do it.
Is Carson Wentz broke?
Carson Wentz is
broke?
broke. That's a good point.
Algorithm says Seattle minus 7.5. What is it? What is
5.5.
4.5? 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me Seattle.
Okay. All right, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. This is the one that there's probably about a 25% chance that this game is not played on Tuesday night. Baltimore has 22 players on COVID restriction. Did I read that right? That's crazy.
It was 18, and then they put I think that's about right.
22. Mark Andrews is out. Lamar Jackson is out. J.K. Dobbins is out. There's a lot of key names here that are out.
Mark Ingram is out.
This line is not 4.5. It's higher than that. It's just that this is, I'm going by the CBS sports line that this is the line at the beginning of the week. We definitely have to take Pittsburgh here, I think, no matter what the heck the line is, especially this
give me
line.
Pittsburgh. Give me Pittsburgh.
Oh, man, do I want to change my Seattle pick? Now I'm thinking about it. I am thinking.
Is Carson Wentz broke? Is he broken?
I actually took Seattle in my Survivor League this week because I'm down to that. That's why I'm kind of leaning hedging the bet. But even so, 5.5 points, Seattle could win by 3, and Philly still covers. I'll leave it. I will leave it as is. I don't know why, but I'm going to leave it. So there's our picks, people. What do you think? Looks like let me highlight the ones that we have the same here, Typhoon.
Yeah, we pretty much kind of had the herd mentality this time. We kind of stayed together.
Yeah, that we like the Saints, of course. Let's see. We like the Chiefs. We like the Packers. And we like Pittsburgh. So there's only a couple games where we disagree, but that's kind of what makes it fun. So that's it. Any other specific questions people have?
We got one. Jordan Brown again. Jordan, boy, we are catering directly to you. Jordan is getting all the attention.
There's so many questions this week, about players who to start, just because you've got players coming back like Eckler, like Mostert. You've got question mark players. You might have Adam Thielen and you can't play him. So who do you start? Do you start like a Jacoby Myers, right, against Arizona? Do you start T. Higgins this week against the Giants? Higgins might be up against James Bradbury, who's been really good as a defender. Or does Tyler Boyd get covered by Bradbury? Those lots of different questions, and it all depends. I don't think Bradbury's going to shadow. I think he's going to cover a certain side of the field. And it just depends on which receiver is on him. Man, there's just a lot of questions, on like who to start. I don't know. I can't remember in recent time a start-sit week that is this crazy, this zany, this many literally question marks about what's happening, what's going on. No Jonathan Taylor. Is Jonathan Wilkins worth a start? Well, maybe. Depends on who you would have to bench in order for him to play. So many questions. And you know what? I don't really have all of the answers. No one really does. We're just kind of speculating based on what we think might happen and try to guess game scripts and such. So in that regard, it's almost a coin flip. But you have to have some sort of knowledge on who's in, who's out, who's been used in the past. How many snaps did they have the last time they played? How involved were they? There's a lot to. If you have Nelson Aguilar against Atlanta, if you have Nelson Aguilar on your roster, I think he's definitely worthy of a start this week. But who do you bench? Do you bench a guy like Jarvis Landry, right? Do you bench a guy like, I don't know. Allen Robinson, right, against the Packers. I would hate to think that, but Green Bay's a good team against the pass. So there's so many questions. Broncos, I think if you have Broncos, you sit them. I don't think you start Jerry Jeudy. I don't think you start KJ Hamler. I don't think he's an option. Now, Melvin Gordon, if you really wanted to get tricky, Melvin Gordon could have a pretty busy day because they're going to run a lot. The question is, can they sustain those drives? And I'm not sure if they can. That's a tough battle. So I've been rambling here. I'm sorry. Typhoon, feel free to share your thoughts.
That's fine, man. Go ahead. You was getting a lot out of your brain.
Brain dump right there.
Yeah, sometimes you got a brain dump, man. You got to let it out so you can move on to the next week.
If you have a Raven, I don't think you play any Ravens at all. Even Steelers are a crapshoot because, one, we don't know if the game is even going to be played. Probably will. Like I said, I think there's a 25% chance that it is not played, but still, that's 25%. That's getting close to a coin flip. But even if they do play this game, how much is Ben Roethlisberger going to play if they're up 17-0, at halftime, 20-0? I mean, like how bad are they going to beat down on a Baltimore team that has 22 players out? How bad is Denver going to be in trouble against a defense like the Saints who have been playing well? Of course, keep in mind with Kendall Hinton at quarterback for Denver, who practice squad player, hasn't practiced even in 3 weeks, doesn't really even know the playbook. I mean, Denver lobbied not to play this game, and I don't blame them. And the only reason they're playing is because they don't want to take a forfeit, right? But I mean, they're pretty much. I don't know how competitive they can be. And if they are, when will that go away? After the first quarter, the second quarter? At what point do they just say, okay, we lost this game, let's move on and, not try? I really don't have an answer for that. I don't think we have in recent memory, any kind of situation where there's a team you can't even really field a team. And we're looking at that through Denver and Baltimore this week, both teams. So it's a huge question mark, but I would probably shy away from Denver players, even Melvin Gordon. Although if there's anyone who could potentially have a decent game, it is Gordon, because they're going to be running the ball an awful lot. They just, I don't see a lot of passes. With not a lot of passes, you also have not a lot of sack opportunities for the Saints defense. So that's something to be. If you're starting the Saints defense, that's not a bad play, but you may not get a lot of sacks because there may not be a lot of dropbacks. But shoot. There could be turnovers. There could be an attempted pass when it does happen that just goes awry and it's incomplete, tipped, intercepted, whatever. So, man, there's just a whole lot to absorb here with this week. Shoot, I don't know.
Well, in one of my leagues, the Ravens Pittsburgh game, you're able to go to the chat room and put your alternates. Like I have the Steelers defense going. I just picked up the Titans defense, and I'm running them as an alternate just in case that game isn't played. So we do have that type of option in one league that I'm in, just in case that game isn't played. So I don't know if you guys have those alternate, type scenarios. In that case. But if you ask me, I'm 100% Pittsburgh game is being played. They are not going to restructure this whole playoff system, because if they go to the week, if they add on a week, then that means they have to add on another playoff team into the mix. I don't think the NFL is going to do that. The NFL is playing that game, or the Baltimore Ravens will have to forfeit. Especially, here's the caveat here. Here's the dynamite. Being that one of those strength coaches or whatever was non-compliant, so pretty much kind of brought it on yourself type thing. So I see this game being played as more of a punishment to the Ravens and to the rest of the league, wear your mask. Basically what they're trying to statement I think they're trying to make. Just like they did with the 49ers earlier. Decimated. Everybody was out. They made those guys play Green Bay on Monday night.
That's right, and they got blitzed. I mean, they did, and San Francisco was a fairly, decently well-coached team, right? And they still got just stung in that game. Yeah, they just didn't have the players, and I think we're going to see that with Baltimore, and potentially here with Denver too, with the quarterback situation the way it is.
Yeah, so I see the NFL, yes, making Baltimore Ravens play, absolutely, 100%. Let's see, we got one here. Given Hayden Hurst goose egg last week and Julio is out, are you firing him up this week? Tight end scoring is 5 yards equal 1 point. Yeah,
I think you do. I mean, especially with Julio out, they're going to need another body to catch passes, and Hurst is definitely capable of that. I would say that he's probably, let's see. I mean, I would say at least a top 10 option this week. I'm speculating here. Maybe four or five catches, 60 yards, maybe a touchdown. I mean, you kind of hope that you get a touchdown with your tight end every week. But even if not, I still think that 4 or 5 catches is within the realm of possibility for Hayden Hurst against the Raiders, and probably a game that the Raiders are going to dominate in terms of time of possession, because Josh Jacobs, I think, is going to run wild. But Atlanta's going to be forced to pass, and Hurst is going to be one of those pass catchers. So you take away the targets to Julio, someone's going to have to add those. So I like Hurst to have at least a fairly decent game, and if he scores, even better.
Fire him up.
Fire him up.
Fire him up. I didn't do my fire him up segment this week. I hate I missed it. Thanksgiving got in the way on that one. But I'll do it today. Fire him up.
Fire him up.
Fire him up. Look, folks, we're sitting around here waiting on some questions to come in. We'll give it a little bit more and we're gone. I need to get Julio out of all my lineups. I own Julio everywhere.
Oh wow!
I gotta get him out. I gotta take care of my own league.
Yep.
But what were you saying? You said you had a league where you were able to do an alternate.
Oh, yeah. I've got 2 dynasty leagues that are allowing conditional picks. Right. So like if I wanted to start Chase Claypool, he's my start. But if for whatever reason, if the game is not played, then I'm gonna go with insert someone, Michael Pittman, right? And the commissioner will then make that change if indeed the game isn't played. But Chase Claypool would be my quote starter. And if the game isn't played, then my alternative will get the start. So
you get to fall back on Pitt. Okay. Yeah.
That's a nice perk, nice feature that my Dynasty League commissioner has added. So
yeah, mine as well. All right, folks. This has been Can You Beat the Coin? And this has been Who Do I Start? With my good friend, Who Do I Bench? With my good friend Jeff Haseley over at Football Guys. We'll wait a couple of seconds to see if another question comes in. If not, we'll go ahead and conclude for the day. And any final thoughts, Jeff?
Final thoughts. Sometimes, I say think long, think wrong. So like if you're thinking too much into something, it's probably not the best decision. I think that
that usually happens to me. That rule is true.
A general rule of thumb: if a player has performed well in the past, chances are they're going to do that again, regardless of who the quarterback is. But there are some exceptions. Like for example, what are T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd going to do with Brandon Allen at quarterback? Right? Can they come through? We're going to find out. I think they're still going to get targets, The question is, will they be able to produce with those? Generally, if they've done it in the past, I think they'll do it again. So I say kind of stick with those particular players unless you have a better option. And if you have access to Football Guys, if you're a Football Guys subscriber, you can go in and check out our projections. Those are updated constantly as we speak with new information and inactives coming in and that are already in. So we have those updated. You can put them right to your custom scoring league settings. So you'll know who to start, who to bench. That always helps. Yeah. And really just do your best. This is a very tough week. It's a very, very tough week. I mean, there could be situations where a player that you didn't think was going to be that successful, that productive this week, have really strong, good games. And then there's going to be players who you think that we're going to do well, don't. We kind of see that every week, but it seems like it's magnified a little bit this week. And I just don't want people to get stung. There's going to be some good decisions and there's going to be some bad ones. I just kind of hope you make the good decisions.
Yeah, like me this week, Thursday, for instance. Started Will Fuller.
There you go.
Yes. Will Fuller came through.
He did.
And then the following game had Zeke loaded up and 2.5 points. So, I mean, hey, you know, sometimes those studs can't sputter. You know, they might need an oil change. You know, might need a little tune-up of spark plugs. Mm-hmm. But you know, it is what it is. That's why we love this game. That's why we play it. You know, because, you know, sometimes it's not just as cut and dry as things appear to be. But when you look in your mirror, what does it say? Things in this mirror might be closer than they appear. You know, sometimes, you know, things just don't go as planned. You know.
That's right. By the way, I like the backdrop of your CD Lamb touch.
Oh yeah,
there behind you. That's pretty.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was a beauty, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was a heck of a catch, man. That was crazy. But that just shows you what first round picks should be able to do in the NFL. You know, that first round picks.
That's right.
This should happen. But all right, folks. All right. We tried to play around a little bit and wait for you, but time to go. I need to get Julio out my lineup. I got him everywhere. I can't even remember how I got him in so many leagues. I can't even remember, you know, how many I got to take him out of. I probably leave him in about 2 or 3 of them, Jeff.
Oh man.
You know, I probably forget. I probably forget to do it. But this has been Can You Beat the Coin? And who do I bench? Good luck on week 12. Come back Monday for hurt or help.